Yo, guten Abend, good afternoon. Please listen, welcoming for all of the Manchester fan of Manchester United. Big up to all of you fans joining. You know what it is. It's your boy Mark and MUFC fan. Red Devil mode is on. Drop the hashtags wherever you are and add your country's flag, guys, because we're a global fan base and, of course, a global community. One love. You know what it is. Big up to everyone joining. I got my buddy Steve Strasbourg, Steve in the building, guys. Big up to Richard James in the building. Richard, what did I tell you, bro? I told you Tuesday. If it didn't happen yesterday, I told you guys. I told everyone I said Tuesday. Good afternoon. Hope you're well. Let's run around some of the other news because we're gonna get to the main show. You know where the beef is at. Everyone wants to talk about it, but let's talk about some other things because there's some interesting developments and outgoings for Manchester United. Let's start with the possibility of the outgoing of Jadon Sancho. There might be some headway and a shock move. Let's wait and see. That's all I can tell you for now. What I will say is certainly Napoli is starting to show some interest. Of course, Juventus has always been in for him from since the beginning of the window. And of course, there is some iffy kind of possible interest from Borussia Dortmund to bring him back home. But moving on, Garnacho, there are reports that Chelsea has sped up their time frame, and it's very possible that Garnacho could be out the door in the coming days before this week's end, if not Monday next week. Of course, there are reports that Garnacho has definitely said he's waiting for Chelsea. He wants to move to Chelsea, and of course, that means that Man United is also seeking to accelerate his exit from the club to remove the stress and funny business that has been going on. So that's going to be interesting. Now, guys, one thing to another, there's a possibility of Donnarumma, but we're not going to discuss that right now. But what we are going to discuss is the possible outgoings of another player. Now, we all know that there are some reports that Anthony has rejected Botafogo, he has rejected Al Nassr, and he has rejected another club unknown. But let's say this, guys, there are reports that people would like to say he's waiting on Real Betis. Anthony is waiting on a resolution. And I can tell you that if an offer comes in for him with cash involved, he will leave the club permanently. But if no offer comes in with cash involved, he will not leave the club and will possibly be reintegrated into the squad. Now, some people might be disappointed at that, but there are reports that Manchester United are having a meeting with Andre Onana, and it's very possible for that move to be even a reality with Donnarumma that Andre Onana has to accept a deal to move on. Guys, it's going to get interesting when that happens, but it's going to get even more interesting right now because with the current status quo, as I told you guys, 65 million pounds plus 10, meaning United has matched the bid of Newcastle to 85 million euros, and now it's in the hands of Benjamin Sesko. I spoke to you guys at length every single day for the last couple of days, and I kept telling you, Vavel is there, Sesco is interested. He has already made it clear to his club and his agent that his preference in the event of a bid would be Manchester United. However, Newcastle tried to steal a match by making a bid and coming in with a second bid after that was rejected for around the fee of 90 million euros. Now, the interesting thing about this deal is that there is a clause that refers to a special club, the likes of a possible Man United or a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, because these are the top clubs in world football according to Forbes, the three richest clubs in world football. And they are all, when it comes to heritage, three of the biggest names in the history of football in their respective nations. So it's one of those things where they fall into that clause. And because Man United bid at the upper echelon of that clause, because Man United could have bid 75 million euros, they could have bid 55 million pounds plus 10. And that would have qualified them as a deal of equal value according to that clause. But to show sincerity and their value of Benjamin Sesko, they bid above the required 70 million and went straight to the upper end and give it 80 million euros plus 5. So what I can tell you and what I kept telling you all at all The reason why Man United made this player our focus is because of Ruben Amorim's desire to bring this player to lead the line at Manchester United. It was never a situation where Manchester United was in for Ollie Watkins or Benjamin Sesko. From the moment the opportunity arose for Benjamin Sesko, it was definitely him and him alone, unless this deal flopped. But United came in the last moment like a steaming steamroller, and they flattened the place with a huge bid that no one expected. But if you were paying attention to my content, you guys knew since last week, Thursday, that the bid was possibly going to be 65 million plus 10 million pounds in add-ons. Guaranteed add-ons would be a total of 65 plus 5, would it make it 80, 17, 8 to 80 million, 75, 8 to 80 million euros, just around there would be the guaranteed fee. And of course, the easy add-ons achievable would be the plus 5 added to that. So, guys, what can I say to you other than they have made a drastic upturn to the transfer window? And I just don't want to talk about this by myself. Big up to Ricardo Pereira. Big up to you, Frankie, in the building. Of course, big up to my brother Luman as well. Big up to you guys coming in. Big up to Biku, thinking that, the heat is real, of course. Big up to Sadiq Rahman. We will talk about the midfield. Big up to Ray Carl as well. I got my buddy Strasbourg Steve in the background, guys. So, he's going to come in and give his take on what he thinks was really happening because, he's a Newcastle United fan. My brother from another mother, of course. What is happening here? Why is he not in this stream? 1 second, bro. I have to see why you're not here. Um, yeah. Hold on 1 second. Got one. Yo, bro, I'm not sure why I'm not getting into the scene, Hold on, hold on. 1 second. 1 second, bro. You there, bro? Where is he? Where'd he go? Oh, yo, your mic is muted, bro.
Why my Wi-Fi cut out? What's up, man? Can you hear me and
Chilling,
everything all
chilling.
right? Yeah.
Of course, bro. Of course. Welcome to the channel, bro. Of course, you've been here before. Last year transfer season, we did have a speak about some different transfers and your interest, your club. Your club did some really good transfers last season. Of course, it seems this season you're having a difficulty facing Man United in the transfer window. What are your thoughts on the transfer, the saga going on? What are your thoughts on the player? And when Man United signs Benjamin Sesko, where do you think Newcastle will pivot to? Bro, I think
Honestly,
you have
bro,
to
I don't have faith
refresh
that.
the page and come back in because we
Yeah.
can't hear you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, sorry about that, but Steve will be back in a few seconds, guys. Big up to Sadiq in the building. Of course, guys, we will definitely be discussing the midfield shortly. I just wanted to have a little discussion with my brother from another mother about how he feels about all things considered and what does he think about moving forward. Because of course, Newcastle is going to be getting a huge fee if Isak leaves, and that would allow them to spend and of course improve their squad a
Hey,
lot.
can you hear me now?
Ye kind of, but yeah, go with it, bro.
You can kind
All
of
right,
hear?
cool.
Okay. All
I don't
right.
know what happened with you were
So
sounding
what do
pretty
I think
clear
overall?
earlier on, bro. Now it's whack.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. All right, so I'll wait for Steve to get that sorted out, and when he's back, I'll be able to hear him, guys, and I'll bring him back into the scene. But for now, guys, let's discuss, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on Benjamin Sesko first of all, because it looks like we are showing some intent to win some things this season, if not just to win games, some intent to win at football. Because guys, like realistically, I don't know how else to say it, but Man United are shocking me in this current moment, guys. I didn't expect them to go this big. I did say that I heard it was going to be 65 million pounds plus 10 million pounds, which is exactly what we bid. But at the same time, not RD2D2, bro. I got my buddy in the background. That's Strasbourg Steve. Of course, you know him from his channel. If you haven't heard of him, go check him out. He's a very interesting guy. I would say one of the football nerds of the whole YouTube community. This guy watches like 6 to 10 games at a time, and he can tell you play by play what is happening in each game. It's amazing. What I can say is that's what I can say about that guy. You know what I mean? Isaac is saying that he thinks we're interested in making top four, bro. I don't know, but Sesco is definitely on his way to United, in my honest opinion, and this is what the streets are saying in Deutschland. You know what I'm saying? I am really excited, bro, because guess what? United came through with the bid, and it is a bid that is not only amazingly competitive, but it's also it shows sincerity, not just to Benjamin Sesko, but to Leipzig, who maintains a good relationship with Manchester United. What I can tell you guys is it's going to be very interesting when the official results are out or the official announcement comes out, because, like I keep saying, 2 weeks ago, we know that the guy said, "No problem, Steve. It's all good, broski." 2 weeks ago, the player for himself said, "If Man United comes in and it's a choice between Man United and another team, I will be choosing Manchester United." That's just how it was. And honestly, guys, we can fight and we can quarrel and we can argue about lots of different things, but really, 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 it's just one of those situations where it gives us it's one of those things because we earn that with our heritage, guys. We might not be a team that has the best squad right now. We might not be the team that has the best things going for us right now, but we're a team on the return. We are trying to put ourselves in a position where we can compete again and go forward. And this is what exciting for young players of those talent levels. They would want to be part of that, want to come to compete. And at a great club like Manchester United, who wouldn't want to be one of the players in that team that brings this former giant back to the top of world football? And of course, guys, it's going to take a big decision. You are going to have to prepare yourself mentally to play in the red kit of this giant. And I think that's why Sesco asked for some time. This is my own suspicion that I think basically he asked for time so he can confirm to himself he's ready for this step up. And of course, people might laugh at me in saying a step up to Man United, but we are still one of the biggest clubs in England, the most wealthiest club in England right now at 4.9 billion. The closest to us is at 3.9, and that's Liverpool. No, that's Man City, to be fair. Liverpool is shortly right behind them. So, guys, let's not kid ourselves. Yeah, they did have a chance. Delap has knocked us back, honestly. But they will still be able to sign good players, like Campos is saying. And I honestly think if they do sell Alexander Isak, they could afford to spend somewhere close to 250 million in this transfer window, what that remains. They could still do a crazy thing like sign the likes of, you know, a player from Real Madrid or two. You never know because Rodrigo is up for sale. And Newcastle, they got money. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, Big up to halftime with Vegeta Sam. A long time no see, my brother. I saw you live today while I was on the train, but I couldn't jump in to crash it on Riri and Doctor because, bro, sometimes they be talking some madness in the chat. Love them to that, but they talk some madness, bro. Sometimes I don't understand. You know what I mean? Big up to Swag Daddy in the building. Big up to everybody. Of course, halftime with Vegeta. Guys, you don't forget to support my brother. You know how it is. He's always here holding it down when your boy is not around. So, make sure to give him some support. He goes live, and of course, he has the halftime show, the therapy show. When the season returns, of course, we might not be needing some stress therapy, but we might be needing some therapy to calm down from too much excitement. So be sure to check him out, guys. You know what I mean? Big up to Richard James in the building. To think Newcastle thought they had any chance, now they're getting angry he didn't choose them. To be honest, my buddy is a honest football fan. I have to admit that about my brethren. You know what I mean? Although he's a Newcastle fan, he just picked the wrong team to support in England. Of course, he could always turn to the red side. His brother is here. Yeah, he can come. You know what I'm saying? But what I can tell you guys is that it's one of those things when you have the faith, and also this club did make good decisions. They did get themselves in the right situation to get the job done. We cannot lie. We cannot say anything different about what Man United has done because they did what they had to do to get the job done. Anyone could look at it and laugh, or anyone could look at it and say whatever they will, guys. But everyone was there this summer. We experienced the stress, the strain, and difficult summers before. But this summer, Man United has said to everyone, Man United has said to everyone, we are here and we want to compete again. We signed Matthias Cunha. We've signed we've signed the likes of Mbumo, and now we signed one of the most exciting young strikers in world football. And trust me, guys, the one thing that we were missing in attack for the last 2 seasons was experience. We missed it last season, and we missed it the season before. Having young, talented players like Ahmad, Garnacho, and guys like those are amazing. But without the right amount of senior players to guide them and then give them the experience that they need to finish and to be clinical, an example for them to follow in most games when it's difficult, we are going to struggle. And right now, I'm telling you, with this signing and with the 3 players he's going to have behind him this season, in the likes of Bruno and Bumo and Cunha, how could he not be successful? Even Hoyland would be successful coming off the bench this season with those players playing behind him. We got so much creativity in different ways in the next couple moments, guys. Oh, big up to Frankie in the building. 10 months a member. My brother from another mother. Frankie. Glory, glory, Man United, broski. Bro, you always here every single day, bro. Shout out to you, bro. You are one of the main reasons I do this, guys. Got everyone in the chat. You guys are the reasons I come on here live every day. Because guess what? You are the ones I talk to every day anyway. Big up to everyone in the building, guys. It's my pleasure to have you here. It's always my pleasure to have you here, guys. Big up to all of you guys. You know what I mean? And I just hope you guys enjoy the updates. You know what I mean? I try to give you the best news as possible. And when I say the best news, I try to get my news from everywhere I can and give you that summary every day. And to be honest, guys, I think it's going to get very interesting in this season. I'm not going to start talking about my thoughts of the season too heavily just yet. It's still a lot of time. We got another week. You know what I mean? But this weekend, after the performance in the game against Fiorentina, and guys, I forgot to tell you, but let me just put this up right now because, I got a little surprise for you guys. I got a little ticket giveaway. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the stream, guys. The details are there at the bottom of the stream. You can see it in the ticker. I'm giving away 2 match tickets for the game against Fiorentina this Saturday. in live. It's good seats, trust me. You're not going to be sitting anywhere too far. You know what I mean? It's pretty good seats, to be honest. And you just have to have the Manchester United app. I believe our like membership is £8 or €9 or something like that. You just get that, and I could transfer the tickets to you once you win. Of course, the competition rules are you have to get 7 friends to like and subscribe to my channel. They also have to comment, Red Devil Mode hashtag, drop the flags of the countries or where they're from, and that they are supporting you who invited them to the channel. And therefore, you will go into the hat. And of course, we're going to have a live draw on Friday evening, and I will be giving away the tickets and, of course, transferring the tickets to you live on stream. Of course, guys, it's going to be interesting to see who wins. Let's see if you guys can get the job done. And shout out to all of you competing for the tickets because it's free. I'm giving it away. You know, Ahmed and Dogu. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Also, there's a lot of talent in the team. This young player that came in, Diego Leone, I thought he was going to be in the academy for the majority of the time, but he's looking an interesting player. Like he might find himself with some minutes this season. You know what I mean? I just wish we had sold Luke Shaw, to be honest, guys. I'm not going to lie. But, sometimes it's one of those things where you can't always have it your way like it's Burger King. Sometimes you just got to take what you could get, and hopefully they're giving. And it looks like United are giving. It was a swift and a cold, a nasty reply from Ineos, what this was, guys. You know what I mean? This was like the sucker punch from nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Gonna get really interesting in a few more sleeps, and it's Arsenal. Of course, guys. You know what I mean? Big up to Compo Smith in the building. Big up Compos. I'm on a mission. 500 subs. November. Wish me luck. Don't worry, bro. You're gonna get there before November, bro. Trust me. Guys, all my friends watching, they're gonna come support you, bro. You could be serving watch-alongs on my channel. Some big games last season. I hope no one forgot that Vegeta was the guy that gave you all the watch-alongs while I was at work. And we had to play those Europa League games that we had some of the biggest comebacks and some of the biggest performances that we enjoyed last season. Shout out to Vegeta who hosted all those streams for me, guys. Big up to him. You know what I mean? Show him some love, guys. Of course. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not Anthony's plus one, but I'm telling you guys what I've heard. I can't help but tell you guys. Like, I've heard that Mbumo, Cunha, Bruno, as well as a few other players, including Tom Heaton, have been asking the gaffer and the higher-ups to reinstate Anthony into the team because they think he would suit the system and come in as an option off the bench. He would be perfect for the squad. It's really, really weird, guys. But it's pretty interesting to hear all these news. And I know lots of people would give you the news in a different direction, try to make him a evil guy because to say he's denying United money and denying United buying another player because he doesn't want to leave. You know what I mean? And of course, guys, I think it's further from the truth. I think he wouldn't mind leaving because it was a difficult time. And he had a good season at Real Betis. So why wouldn't you want to go back there? But realistically, they don't have the money. It's not like he's pushing for Betis. Yeah? He's pushing to leave to a club that will come and pay for him because he know what it is. But at the same time, it's not like he didn't express a desire to fight for his way back in the team and he wasn't allowed in training. So it is what it is, guys. But let's celebrate the moments. Because yeah, definitely I would have him at left wing back instead of the low every day of the week, guys. I don't know about you guys, but him at left wing back, I think it's gonna be amazing to be as an option when Dorgu is not there or he needs a 30-minute rest. Bring in Anthony, or you want to give Dorgu a rest in the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup, start Anthony. You know what I'm saying? And if he's playing well and Dorgu has competition, he will play better. We need competition everywhere, guys, because guess what? This improves his value maybe next summer or in January, we get 50 million for the guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, guys, profit is better than loss at any day of the week. And not because we're angry, we should deny ourselves money, especially for these players when we spent a lot for these guys. You know what I'm saying? And it won't hurt. So all I'm saying to you guys is it's going to be interesting. Now, there's going to be some possible future moves. But currently, like I told you yesterday, it's all on Benjamin Sesko. Man United are not doing anything until this is wrapped up. So expect this deal to be finished very swiftly once the player officially makes an announcement. Because from what I'm hearing unofficially, he already chose Man United weeks ago. Man United just had to bid to make the deal. And I told you guys this yesterday. £65 million plus £10 million. It's a winning deal. It's what the club wants. It's what they desire. We're playing at the upper echelon of our special club clause, which shows sincerity. And the player knows that we want him. The manager we have, Ruben Amorim, has expressed to him his importance in our starting lineup. So there's nothing to worry about, guys. In my honest opinion, I don't know. I could still be wrong, but so far I think I've been spot on. So I would say to you guys, just expect it. We can celebrate it this weekend. He probably might be unveiled at the game. You never know. I said yesterday, said Madhouse, Anthony on the left wing back or false nine, I'd play him if we can't sell. Of course, I know you said that, and we have been talking about this for months, Madhouse. You know what I mean? I was pretty shocked that Amorim sent him on loan, to be honest, but at the same time, I thought from some of the performances when he came in as a substitute last season, he did improve the team. He may have not have directly contributed with goals, but he came in and improved the team and allowed other players to contribute with goals and assists because he took men and he gave them good passes and stuff like that. So I think, like he did have a shit season. Yeah, and of course he has that spinning move that people want to laugh at. But of course, guys, we want to win games. And trust me, I don't think anybody would be mad if this brother is coming on as a substitute or as a starter in some games and giving top, top, top tier performances. You know what I mean? We've already seen him score some big goals that won us games when he just came against Arsenal and Man City. And even though we lost at City, he still scored. You know what I mean? It just wasn't perfect. He's a hard worker. That is true. That is true, guys. Campos says it as well. He runs all game. You know what I mean? He might not be able to beat players consistently, but he does get through in moments. And guys, sometimes a little bit more confidence and a better team around him, and them moments might be more frequent than it was ever before. You never know. All I saying is, all I'm saying is that as long as we can get a good deal, it wouldn't hurt to play him some games and hope he perform well so that in January we actually get a good deal. Like taking losses for every player, guys, affects our transfer windows. And look at the type of deals we want to be doing. And you guys are excited. I'm excited as well. We spent 63 million pounds on Matthias Cunha, 72 million pounds on Mbumo, 75 million pounds it's looking like on Benjamin Sesko. We've done some big deals this summer, guys. That's three big time players, I would say, added to the squad. And I'm not going to tell anyone to expect a top four or not to, but I'm going to tell everyone listen, don't forget this is Ruben's first real season, getting his formation in, getting players to come in. So we still have to give these guys 6 to 10 games to bed into the team before we start seeing the best of them. Although I would say you would see some goals from Sesco before 10 games, I'm just saying this because I think he's a generational type level striker. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying, guys? But yeah, I mean, I'm excited, guys. I'm happy. You know what I mean? I feel really good. I feel really confident. I feel positive about next season. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be honest with you. Like, I thought about this Garnacho thing for a long time, and he's a young player. So for me, guys, I give young players a different sort of criticism space than I would use for senior players and expected pros. Because realistically, guys, they all in development until they cross 24. 23, 24 is the year I would think they're moving into adult player that's supposed to be given a certain performance week in, week out. Before that, I expect these young players to be developed properly, big up to weak foot in the building. You know what I mean? And whether it's Garnacho, is Ahmad, is Kobe Mainu, is Toby Collier, whether it's Hoyland, you know, I would say to you guys, give them some space because realistically, they are not, they cannot be expected to give that expected performance that we expect from experienced players because they don't have that experience. And equally, when you put them under too much pressure, they will do dumb shit because they're young guys. Yeah. And I would say to you guys is that, we had to treat these teams, these young players and these teams like how we would treat young people in general. Give them some time, give them advice. Don't expect them to just know to be better. Show them the way. Because sometimes, guys, they don't know a better way of how they're behaving. And it could be a mistake of the team to get rid of him, but his attitude was really not in the ilk of a player who have respect for Manchester United. And as much as I would like to defend Garnacho, guys, I will be honest here, it has certain things you can't do. And you might get away with a indirect disrespect to the manager. Yeah. But you will never get away with a direct disrespect to Man United, bro. Because at the end of the day, above all else, it's Man United we here for. And no man bigger than Man United. And brother, you might be a big talent in 2, 3 to 4, 5 years. You might score some big goals and win more Puskas awards. But realistically, you're not bigger than Man United, King. And whoever telling you that or didn't tell you that, I feel sorry for you, bro. Because when United start winning, it's long. I hope people did tell you. Because that's where the Premier League and that's where all them other clubs trying to stop. That one trophy that Man United will win will be the birth of probably another decade of United dominance. A lot of people don't know what it is to be on the knees, bro, until it's too late. Garnacho will see. Maybe for where we are. Yeah, exactly. Now listen, yeah. It's like Marcus Rashford. Everybody know I criticize Marcus Rashford, but everybody know deep down I rate Marcus Rashford. And it's because I rate him, I'm so critical of him. Because he's supposed to be the talisman. When you wear number 10, you have to carry that team on your back. It's rule. And that is the heritage football rule. When a man wearing number 10, he's the talisman. When the team in its darkest moment, he had to be the light. Yeah? And he was not doing that. But I could tell you guys with equal sincerity, he will kill it in Spain. It will be Vinny Jr. who next season, King. And don't be shocked if people start to talk to him in sentences with Mbappe after next season because big man, I'm telling you guys, yeah, but Rashford could be possibly scoring 25 to 30 goal contribution next season, if not more. I just saying it. If Ole don't believe it and Ole want to laugh, okay. But I just telling Ole now that is my belief. Yeah, time to go, bro. You don't disrespect the club. The end. Even Mason Greenwood didn't disrespect Man United. Yeah, burnout. Exactly. Yeah. And guys, you can't hate me if I say I want to get that jersey from Mason Mount and retire it until we get a Maverick for it. Because right now, King, that one every 5, 10 goals, you get a flick, you flick your hair and score a goal. That ain't good enough for that number 7, King. It's not good enough. I don't know about you guys. I like the goal with Mason Mount score, but it's not good enough. You gotta be scoring them goals every fucking week. Sorry for my language, but every week you gotta score them goals, guys. To be honest, because number 7 is mercurial. And if you know what the definition of mercurial is, Nowhere. All right, Moise. I apologize. So let's talk about the midfield possibilities, guys. So it's interesting for Man United. Now, don't forget that we spoke 2 weeks, guys, ago about young Javi Guerra from Valencia. Now, Man United is heavily interested in this player. And the reason why I will say this is, guys, Man United was willing to put off a deal with Sesco initially until Newcastle made the bid in an attempt to sign this player while he refused a renewal of contract from Valencia. However, the player has communicated that he would like to stick to play another season more at the Mestalla. So Man United are in a situation where if they sign the player, they would be willing to let him in for another season in the club. So then he would be joining Man United and then going back to Valencia on loan for an entire season. The interesting part of this, guys, is where Man United might use this as an excuse to make a move for Hayden Hackney. There's a lot of report, of course, GB, anything for you. I'm going to give the recap after I give this part here. I'll continue on and give a recap. Big up to you, broski. Yeah. So Hayden Hackney has reportedly is in a transfer limbo within a deal with Ipswich right about the time when his club Middlesbrough was about to agree a fee with Ipswich. Man United are looking at this situation as a possible situation to make a hijack for the player, but they need a fee to be agreed before they can make a move. Of course, Hayden Hackney, I don't know if he has moved already, but according to what the news I had, which is up until 2 days ago, because I didn't check yesterday on his update. But yeah, this is what I know from Man United, bro. So I'm sorry, I didn't check any updates on actually Middlesbrough, but on Man United. So if he has moved, then we lost out on him. But what I can say is there's a possible situation where that might not even be an issue because there are some lofty aspirations for Man United in this transfer window. And I will be going on to talk about one of those lofty aspirations right now. And it might sound almost ridiculous, but Man United could be eyeing one of two defensive midfielders. And of course, Morten Hulman would come to mind as the first player that I would be mentioning to you, along with the likes of none other than Adam Wharton. There are some reports of interest in Belieber, but there are heavy reports that there's a favor among the higher ups for. Yeah, Fred. Yeah, Fred. I see. Okay, Fred. Okay, Fred. So there's a high favoring among the higher ups for young Adam Morton. Now, for me, I would say I prefer to take a believer because we need a more of a destroyer, physical presence. But Adam Morton does have a physical presence and he can distribute the ball very well at his feet. It will be interesting to see what happens there. Of course, Man United, after this move for Benjamin Sesko, will need to have some outgoings to continue with top tier targets. And of course, the movement of Jadon Sancho will definitely help that. Of course, a 27 million euro bid or £1 million bid is expected to come in from Juventus. It was expected last week, Wednesday. However, that was deterred or delayed by the sudden interest from Borussia Dortmund, who are yet to make a concrete improvement or a concrete bid for Jadon Sancho. Not really weak foot, but yeah, I have to give the recap. So after the recap, I'll answer your questions. I can read the chat as well. So big up. So it will be an interesting situation when that is concerned. Of course, Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea is hell of on. And when I say hell of on, it could be happening before the end of this week, GB. And the reason for that is because Chelsea sold 4 players on Monday. So that made them a lot of more money that they thought that they would not get until the end of this week, which might have moved up the transfer date, not only for Xavi Simons, but also for their second priority, which is Alejandro Garnacho. And of course, we know that he's waiting on the player, and it's going to be a situation. The deal for Benjamin Sesko is not exactly complete. Also, the deal for Hayden Hackney to Ipswich. And this is why I was saying Man United is wanting to launch a hijack. The biggest problem is that Man United switched their focus to Amorim's priority at striker and also the higher ups who also preferred, and also with the help of Christopher Vavell, who, like I told you all, brought Sesco at 16 years old from Slovenia all the way to the club called RB Salzburg. So there's a certain level of trust there. So that's how that happening there. So sorry to jump in between there, but let me just go on to the outgoings, continue with the outgoings. There's some reports, wild reports, that when Andre Onana returns from injury, he will be meeting with the higher ups who will be trying to push a move for him out of the club. And this would be the only possibility where Man United can make a move for Donnarumma, because he would be expecting to be immediately named the number one Manchester United, even if he were to consider taking wages in in the realm of 250K per week. As we know, the reason with the rift to Paris Saint-Germain is his request for 400 plus in wages from Paris Saint-Germain. So, which is 100K less. So let's say close to 300K per week or more in pounds. So we know that's going to be difficult at Man United. And of course, Donnarumma is Donnarumma, but yeah, it's long. Of course, the interest remains heavy in Senna Lamens. Of course, he is still waiting on Manchester United, who has always communicated to him that it will be an option at the back end at the back end of the window. Of course, this deal is somewhere in the region between 10 to 20 million euros. It's not an expensive deal at all. And this particular goalkeeping deal will not matter if Andrew Onana leaves or he goes. It's all that matters is if United go in for the player. He's already made it clear he will accept any offer from Manchester United, as it is his dream to play here, which has also been the theme this summer with players. Big up to Stephanie Griffith in the building. Of course, there are some interesting developments in the midfield, and just as there are interesting developments in the midfield, there is some possibilities happening at the centre back. And the one possibility that might be happening, and we have to hope that this second bid that Crystal Palace is about to make for Ousmane Diamade is successful, because only then will Man United make a play for this player. And if this was to be accepted by Sporting, it is said that Man United will immediately move to hijack the deal. So this is my recap. Of course, we're going to discuss a little bit of a re-discussion on Sesco. Of course, you know Man United has placed the bid in. I told you guys since last week, Thursday, £65 million plus £10 million, a total of 85 million euros. And I told you this last week because there were strong reports that Man United had made Sesco their priority target at striker. Since then, the player has already 2 weeks prior, communicated that if he was to be signed by a Premier League club, it would have to be Man United. Between them and Newcastle would be his preference. And I don't think that has changed, guys. And with this, I think that Man United is maintaining the overall good relationship that they had with Leipzig. Of course, they are also flexing their muscle next to Newcastle, who did bid somewhere in the region of 90 million euros. But as I can tell you guys, it's 63 million pounds plus a further 7 million, a further 10 million pounds from Newcastle or something like that, give or take. Or I could be wrong. 70 million pounds plus 10, something like that. So technically, United's initial base is more money than what Newcastle is offering, right? Also, to be mindful of everyone in their thinking is that this deal does not make a difference with what Newcastle is paying, because United qualifies for a special club clause that is in Sesco's contract. And this clause states that a special club can come in for the player, and the reasonable base fee can be 70 million euros to 80 million euros. And of course, Man United's base fee is 80 million euros, guys, which is on the extreme upper echelon of the clause, which shows sincerity. Of course, we know that Newcastle has bid 90 million euros in total package, 80 million base, and of course, 10 in add-ons. Now, with this for Newcastle, they already had to bill above 80 million euros because they do not qualify for the special club clause. So, of course, one team is going to seem as they made a low bid, and one team is going to seem as they made a high bid. Now, which team is those? Can you guess which teams looks like they made the high bid and which team is trying to lowball? I don't know if I have to say it, but it's Man United who are looking like they made the high bid, and Newcastle who look like they made the lowest bid possible. But that's just what I'm saying to you guys. You guys could not believe me, or you can, but the proof will be in the pudding, and I can tell you this deal is all but done because what could happen next is you can be hearing medical for Benjamin Sesko. It's already been booked, like Man United always do when they put a bid in official for any player they know that they are going to sign. 50 million pounds plus five in add-ons. 28 likes. Big up to everyone smashing likes. Don't forget to share it around. Of course, if you want to win those tickets, please join the competition. Don't forget all the information on the member page. You can click on my member page posts and check it out. It's live there. There's also a short explaining it as well. Good luck to all of you joining. You know what I mean? Big up to Stephanie in the building as well. If Donnarumma's come, it's buy in there goes, not Onana. Fred the Red, I implore you, please, this one thing, please listen to what I'm saying. Onana has to go for Donnarumma to come. Onana has to go. Yeah, and I'm telling you this now. So you might not believe me, but trust me on this one. Madhouse, big up to Madhouse. Gavin Underwood says Hackney himself turned down the move to Ipswich. Hmm. Well, maybe Man United's hijack is successful. What can I say, Gavin? I can't confirm yet, but I can tell you that the focus right now is what Man United is doing with Benjamin Sesko. They are not doing any other deals in this moment. So whatever it is that is going to happen is certainly either waiting to happen or they're going to work on that when they're finished. You know what I mean? High bid or hybrid bid. So, big man, can I ask you now? Yeah, if you want, bro, go ahead, bro. Still could go to Newcastle. Nah, bro. Newcastle, it was not it was never even a competition, broski. Newcastle bidding 90 million euros is only fanfare in this moment, bro, because at the end of the day, the fact that we'd had a special club clause makes it really difficult for Newcastle to even compete with United once we made a bid, because we are always going to bid a fee that the club would have accepted. You understand what I'm saying, Neil? And to be honest, United could have been even more disrespectful and bid 75 million euros altogether. You could have bid 70 plus 5 or 70 plus 10 and still qualify for the special club clause, Neil, but they bid 85 million euros. And that shows sincerity. And I think Leipzig will take the respect from that and they will allow Sesco to sign because I think Sesco took time because he needed to confirm that he's ready to make the step up to deal with the pressure of leading in line at Manchester United. His preference is known 2 weeks now, Neil. You can check it all around. He said he would rather choose Man United if both teams came into bid. So said, so done. I think we could be hearing a here we go any minute now. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a graphics designer, says weak foot. So let's read it out. I make professional football thumbnails and posts. Just wondering if you were interested. I might be, but I actually have stuff like that, to be honest. But maybe we can do something, bro. Like I would try it out for any, and if anyone in my chat would like to try you out as well, they're welcome to, broski. You know what I mean? So, if you want, you could check in the description. You should see the WhatsApp link. You could jump into the group, bro, and drop you a message in the group. And of course, I will take it from there. It's cool, bro. All good. It's super cool. So, guys, this has been the update. Of course, I told you already since Sunday, it was either going to be Monday or Tuesday. And of course, it was Tuesday. So now I'm telling you guys 100% that it's going to be this week. You're going to hear the here we go for this guy. Hopefully he's unveiled this week, this Saturday, at the game against Fiorentina. And you never know, he might be wearing that number behind me. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But big up to you guys. Have a wonderful day. Eh, let me ask you a question, yeah? Are you willing to buy 500 memberships? If you're willing to buy 500 memberships, yeah, of course. If you want to buy 500 memberships, cool. We could make that bet. So 500 memberships and then talk to me. Yeah? And if you want to prove it, you have to buy 10 now. That's all I could say. So big up to you guys. Have a wonderful evening. I'll catch you guys later on. And of course, if anything breaks, your boy will be back with more operations and more news in the building. And of course, if you don't understand why I'm saying this, go watch my other streams, bullshit man. You know what I'm saying? Big up to you, broski. I'm not claiming I know, but I'm just telling you that I got better news than you thought you got. You know, big up to you as well. Enjoy your afternoon, bro. Join the competition. I'm giving away tickets for the game. You know what I mean? So you could win them too, as well. Everyone, hope you have a wonderful evening. Catch you later. Don't forget to enter into the competition. Hopefully, one of you guys win the tickets to the game this Saturday. And it's 2 tickets to the game this Saturday versus Fiorentina at Manchester United. Big up to you guys.